It is perhaps among the most relatable of the 7 deadly sins.
A feeling we've all had at one time or another. Well, tonight, a grisly reminder of indeed just how deadly jealousy can be. We want to warn you the details of this story are graphic.
9 on your side's Maggie Vespa with tonight's cold-blooded murder mystery, Cracked, the case.
If anyone has ever embodied the phrase minding their own business, it was this sweet single mother and her 2 young children out for a midday drive on Tucson's west side. That is, until someone,
the first image that comes to my mind,
lurking nearby,
are the bodies of Brandon and Jennifer,
set their envious eyes on this happy family.
At the top of Gates Pass.
It was August 4th, 2000, around 4:20 p.m. Police reports show 36-year-old Lucila Bojorquez and her 2 kids, 7-year-old Jennifer and 6-year-old Brandon, pulled up to the Menlo Park apartment complex. Suddenly, a stranger approaches, armed and determined to get what he wants. Witnesses told police things escalated quickly. They heard yelling, arguing, and finally, gunshots. Alice Donnell, who still lives in the Menlo Park apartments today, remembers coming home to a stunning scene.
And the police came here to the door and asked me, did I see? And I told them, no, I just saw the lady laying out. And that was all I see.
You just knew a woman was hurt.
I knew a woman was hurt.
A woman, a mom, who police soon learned was rarely without her 2 kids. Immediately, the search was on. That search ended roughly half an hour later here at Gates Pass, where hikers found the bodies of little Brandon and Jennifer, each shot in the head at point-blank range. Mayor was called out to view the carnage firsthand.
I was actually at dinner and went out to the scene, and you don't forget 2 little kids like that. The defendant had shot Brandon point-blank range through the head. The bullet had penetrated through his brain and had entered into that of his sister as they were huddled together. Jennifer had held up her hand as the bullet was coming, and it tore half of her hand away as well.
She says the motive for murder seemed clear. Carjacking, plain and simple. That is, until they found the likely loot ditched in the nearby desert. But there was something missing from that car, something very key, and it was the discovery of that something that was about to turn this investigation upside down.
Still to come, how police cracked this case. It's an eye-opening look inside a then blossoming status-driven culture, one in which too often cost was of no consequence.
A mother and her 2 children brutally murdered.
Their car stolen and stranded. But this cold-blooded crime was not without reason. Just what that reason was, though, will leave you breathless.
Once again, a warning. The details are graphic. Here's 9 on your side's Maggie Vespa.
It was a triple execution, the likes of which Kathleen Mayer had never seen.
I still have a little tightness inside me when I think about that, and when I think about the nature of humanity that can engage in that kind of conduct.
Conduct made clear in these crime scene photos. Among the carnage in that car, you can see little Brandon's cowboy hat. But so far, the biggest break in this case centered around what was on the outside of that car, or rather, what wasn't.
When they found the car, of course, the tires and the rims were gone.
Specifically, Dayton-style rims.
So I guess I gotta do whoops.
An expensive model so hot,
I'm Dayton's and your stereo.
Even Hollywood took notice.
Cell phone, a ledger, and a knife.
Locally, coverage of this bizarre motive blew up.
The wheels and rims were missing.
And it was that widespread awareness
Going on, ma'am?
that spurred a painful call
I saw the news this morning.
from a mother in shock.
My son came home with some ribs the other night, and I don't know where he got it from.
His name was Ralph Cruz, a 16-year-old boy who, at the hands of his own mom, was now the main target in the hunt for a cold-hearted killer. As Lydia Romero made that fateful 911 call, reports show Cruz and a friend were loading the stolen rims into a truck, presumably planning to sell them. Police arrived before they had the chance. In addition to the rims, detectives found literally their smoking gun. The murder weapon buried in Cruz's backyard. Here you see footage of Ralph Cruz turning himself in, his family crying, clinging to his side.
What can be more heinous and depraved than to take the lives of defenseless children, children who have done nothing, so that he can drive off in a fancy car?
Again, then homicide prosecutor, now deputy county attorney, Kathleen Mayer.
He was a stone-cold killer. That's how I would describe him.
Throughout his trial, which ended when Cruz pleaded guilty to avoid death row, Mayer says he never once showed remorse, never once said, "I'm sorry."
We need to have a continuance of this case.
And while his attorneys argued for mercy for a kid raised around crime with a father behind bars,
T-Bird, the victim's car,
Mayer went after and won multiple life sentences for Ralph David Cruz, the 16-year-old boy who stole 3 people from this earth because they had the right rims.
he had that choice. He made a choice to destroy lives for his own self-gratification, and he could, I don't care whether you do it at 36, whether you do it at 26, whether you do it at 16. If that's the way you've chosen to live your life, then you're going to be held accountable for that.